Good morning, Scott and Lisa Cahill. This video is about Oroville Dam, and particularly I am responding to a conversation that took place on WCRA 3 where they interviewed Mr. Croyle. Mr. Croyle made a number of statements. They were extremely kind to Mr. Croyle, didn't ask anything that would have upset him. And I guess that's how you get Mr. Croyle on. But it was a placation of very serious issues, I feel, and didn't convey any information of any value. Here are some of the things that Mr. Croyle said in this interview in response to these very, very, very carefully placed questions. The dam itself was not compromised. It was the spillway. The dam was never at risk. The spillway was broken. We also had a historical amount of water. We did have a few issues. The system worked. What do you do when it is a drought? You prepare for when it is wet. All of that training has paid off. And lastly, the dam is safe. We can put water down there right now. It's an amazing engineered structure. And regarding those people who live beneath the dam, they absolutely should feel safe.
Do you want to take those one at a time?
I think we can speak to the generality of it. The dam came within minutes of failing. That is not acceptable, and it is not a system working in any of the systems. Of the structural physical dam itself certainly was not working. The bureaucracy of DWR was not working. The coordination which caused the dam to not be properly maintained for decades was not working. There were a number of things that were not working. You can't rewrite history and make things different than what they are. And no matter how many times you repeat these things, the reality is still there. And people are not so easily manipulated. They're not. Also, at about 3/4 of the way through the thing, they asked Mr. Croyle when he was going to take a vacation, and he said that he was going to take a vacation soon. So, this man, who's only been in this position for a short period of time, but was involved otherwise in the same bureaucracy before, thinks everything's fine, and everything was fine, and that the system worked. Regarding Mr. Croyle's vacation, and then I'll shut up for a while and let Lisa respond to these statements, I would give Mr. Croyle a vacation. If they made me king of the world for about 3 days, I'd have the world pretty well straightened out. And Mr. Croyle would not have to worry about vacation time. He'd have all the vacation time he wanted. People who manage a dam have to take it seriously, have to speak candidly and honestly, and have to state the truth, not to participate with a bureaucracy which has created an absolutely untenable situation. That's my statement. Fire away, Noodle.
All right. He said the dam itself was not compromised. It was the spillway, and that's something that we've heard quite a number of times throughout this thing in an effort to soothe the people downstream. The dam is a system. It is a system comprised of the embankment, the emergency spillway, the flood control spillway, main spillway, and also all of the valves and appurtenances, the powerhouse, so on and so forth. It's a simple test. If this element is holding back water, it's part of the dam. FEMA 93, FEMA Guidelines for Dam Safety, or Federal Guidelines for Dam Safety, which is a FEMA publication, but if you'll read the preface, it applies to all federally regulated dams, including this one because this is a FERC dam. It says a dam or project is any artificial barrier, including appurtenant works, which impounds or diverts water. Then they go through with some size characteristics and so on. But every piece of that dam that holds or has the potential to hold back water is a part of the dam. It's not just semantics. The spillway failed. That means the dam was in a failure mode, and that's something that we've discussed before. The dam is still in a failure mode in many areas, not just the spillway. A walk through any of the inspection reports will begin to give you clues about all the different ways that the dam is having problems. Let's see. The dam was never at risk. The spillway was at risk. We talked about that. The system worked. No, I think everybody who spent 4 hours getting about half a mile the night of the evacuation, everybody who heard the everything's fine, fine, fine news releases leading up to the evacuation knows very well that the system didn't work. That these people were not even honest enough to get on TV beforehand and say, we're going to use a spillway we've never used in 50 years. We think it'll be fine. We'll be paying attention. We'd like you to be paying attention too.
I don't want to use the word dishonest. I want to say that they were petrified with fear. The people who are charged with managing the dam, that is, and that is not an acceptable situation. That is not an acceptable persona for one who has such responsibility. I also do not wish to alarm people. You know, I want everybody to be happy. I want everyone to get along and to smile and have fun. But there are realities in life and in this world and in politics and in government that have to be addressed. And you can only address those realities by specifically stating the truth. So I do think that they really wish you not to feel threatened. I think that they absolutely should feel safe. I think they want you to feel safe. I also want you to feel safe. I want you to feel safe by people doing their job and maintaining the dam to the highest level.
Absolutely.
And to make it a dam where you can assess it honorably with truth, and where you honestly are not afraid of what may happen.
Truth and openness.
Yep. And that's what I want. They want you just to feel safe. So they're going to continue to tell you the system worked. You absolutely should feel safe. The dam was never in threat. It was just the spillway. And I guess it is you who have to make that decision. I'm not in jeopardy in Ohio. God, I hope that I never have to think back on this after a dam failure or any other dam that I ever cared about or people that I met and that I grew to care about. It scares me to death, and I don't have any responsibility for this dam. So DWR is not concerned. You should not be concerned.
According to them.
According to them. I am horribly concerned. I am horribly, horribly, horribly concerned. The other thing I want to say about this evolution is that the structural part, the physical part of this, if a man is telling you you're completely safe, there's no problem with the dam, but you can look at the dam and you can see that the emergency spillway has failed and the principal spillway has failed, and you look at that analytically, you can't put a lot of weight in the statements of that person. it's obvious that either he really believes that this is not a serious thing. I think it is, absolutely. One of us is wrong. I could be completely wrong, or he could be completely wrong. One of us is completely wrong. It is not both absolutely safe and unacceptable and completely unsafe. One of us has to be wrong. And I truly believe that it is not me. With tomorrow, a rain event, which is not an unforeseeable huge event, just a normal rain event, and unusually maybe a little higher than normal rain event, the dam will fail. The spillway will fail, which is a part of the dam.
Now, where are you talking about? The main spillway or the emergency spillway?
Doesn't matter,
okay.
One or the other. Either one will fail. The principal spillway is already half gone, and in fact, what we've done is to demolish the rest of it, to absolutely assure that a bunch more crap is going to wash into the Feather River, backing up the reservoir even further. So, we haven't taken a step towards safety, we've taken a step away from safety.
I've had the same thought. Right. The lower part of it had reached a stasis that allowed the rest of the season to happen.
Right.
And that's been disrupted now. But the upper part is still cracked and crippled.
The lower part, if it were to fail, we already know exactly what would happen. But, we blew apart what was left of it. It doesn't matter. I don't suppose it makes it much worse. But we were never worried about the lower part anyway. We were worried about this failure evolving
upwards,
up to compromise the pool.
Right.
Cut back erosion of the spillway. It occurred and it progressed. It found a point beyond which it stopped progressing as rapidly. But one of the spillways would fail, or both the spillways would fail in a reasonable rain event that's well beneath the design storm for the dam. That is unacceptable. That's not unacceptable just to me or to Lisa. That's unacceptable to everyone who deals in dam safety. That's unacceptable. That's the reality of it. The problem is that a guy gets on television and says the system worked. The fact that he believes that, and I believe he does believe that, I think that he thinks that that was all okay. I think it was horrific. I think it was disgusting. I think it was unforgivable and unacceptable. So there's a great disparity in the way that we both feel about it. There are a number of people who feel as I feel. Now, you don't hear a lot from those people. You hear from others who support completely DWR's position. And you don't hear much from the others. I try real hard to stay in the middle and to not overstate things and to not understate things. I try to stay unemotional. It does aggravate me, and it does frustrate me. It frustrates me when a man makes statements like that. The dam was never at risk. The system worked. The dam itself was not compromised. When he's wordsmithing to be able to say something to mislead, and yet he has the entirety of the responsibility for this dam. That's spooky.
That dam and 11 others.
Yeah, it's just unacceptable to me. That's my opinion about it. And I wanted to respond to this because some of my readers and listeners were involved in commenting on this, of course, and said some very kind things. And I thank you very much for that, by the way. But obviously, this was yet more of this information, which is groomed and channeled to the people of California to create a secondary reality for that dam. And we won't fix it by doing that, guys. That's what really matters here. Whether I'm frustrated or whether whatever, whatever. Whether Mr. Croyle gets his vacation or not because of how hard he worked, it doesn't matter. What matters is the condition of the dam, the physical dam itself, and the probability of failure. That probability now lies at a point of unacceptability, and it shall lie at that point for some time. And that concerns me. And then the actions taken, the money spent, the effort expended has not put us in a position of greater safety. That's sad. And what exacerbates my concern is when a man who is theoretically responsible goes on a news outlet and reporters don't ask him any hard questions, and he makes these statements. I don't understand how he can then go to Sacramento or to Washington, D.C. and say, this must be funded. It must be. This is an unacceptable situation. He can't. He can't. Time and time again, he said the system worked. The dam was never at risk. It's no wonder that these repairs aren't being funded properly. The man who's responsible to make the statements is making the opposite statements. If the dam is safe, if the public was never at risk, if the system worked, then this is not a high priority. It concerns me for the other dams that he manages as well.
Indeed.
Do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
I have thought from the first few minutes that of this event, of the initial spillway failure and following, has anybody looked at the other dams they manage? And I continue to have that question. They weren't maintaining this one to this poor standard, but keeping all the others top notch. And no doubt they're high hazard dams as well. So I don't know if anybody has info on that. If you do, post it, but it would be very interesting to know whether or not the other dams have been looked at with any sort of independent panel or anything. Thank you.
Alrighty, and I think that wraps it up. They always seem to run a little bit longer than I want them to, but our interest is that we care deeply about the safety of dams. The reason we care deeply about it is because we were involved with dams for many, many years, and we've seen a lot. This dam exemplifies the failure of inspection and maintenance, I think.
Absolutely.
And it will never improve until everyone recognizes the situation. Thank you very much. Talk later. Bye-bye.